July. And that's why I'm not going to give that much credence to what his thought is then or it is now. I think that, what we should do is try to figure out what can be done about a situation like this and how many other situations are related to this. What's going on right now, it's just part of the historical legacy that we've had to face living in this country. Starting with the bringing us over here and running away from the patrollers and the patty rollers. And Harriet Tubman in her efforts to free people, she said, I could have freed 1,000 more if they only knew that they were slaves. So the things that we need to deal with, not just, those among us who, as we used to call, might Tom out or say something inappropriate or stupid at a time. What we need to do is,
you need to just leave them alone.
These people out here right now, and that the media, who is showing me what they can of these demonstrators, white, black, old, young, and otherwise, coming out against this injustice, against this man who was unrightfully murdered by the police. I think we need to understand the political or judicial process that allows something like this to happen. I think we need to also investigate what the federal government can do about it. I think that, we give Charles Barkley all this, but when I look out at this crowd, I see all types of people. So Charles Barkley obviously isn't influencing them. What can be done?
But you see.
If you want to belabor that point, you can go ahead. But I'm just saying to you, what can be done to stop this, or do we need to be aware of our legacy, the legacy of black people living in this country, and having to suffer from this type of oppression? This oppression, the alignment of our people, the self-hatred that's been enforced upon us and that we fall for. These are things that are concerning me. This is what concerns me, because I don't like seeing people that look like me being taken down like that. I don't like the knowledge that 1 out of every 3 black males is going to have to deal with the judicial system or the penal system in some other way. I don't like knowing that my tax dollars are paying for private prisons where somebody's getting wealthy off the fact of locking up people that look like me. So here we have our government, the coercive forces of our government, the police, hurting us. We all knew forever and ever. I think it's in our natural blood and psyche. We know that the policeman is not my friend. Now, we do call the policeman. We can't do anything else. But we all know the policeman is not our friend. We know that from a baby. This son was 2 years old saying, oh my God, the cops. I'm like, how did he know that? We haven't had any altercation. So it's just something that's in our historical DNA that makes us afraid of those people who represent the state. So this is nothing new. Will it ever go away? Can we do some policing of our own in our own community? Can we help each other in some way? And rather than rely on them, how can we look inward to make things work for us? Not necessarily the institutions of government, because they may not do that. Things are slipping away from us. All our civil liberties that we have, our right to privacy, to not being mistreated, the right to vote, suppression of that. Daily these things are happening. So this is just one out of many injustices. Do you still have to stand gladly and say the pledge, liberty and justice for all? Is that what you believe is really happening?
We should even stop wasting our time saying that pledge.
I think I asked you this before. Should everyone get up and say it? And many people say sure.
No, I told you everybody didn't have to get up.
Facebook said, this is not the season for this kind of stuff. There should be peace on earth. And we should unite around peace.
Unite? What?
And I said, well, yeah, we should unite. And we should unite under what banner, though? The banner should say liberty and justice for all. Now, that's what we recite, or some people recite, on a daily basis without really thinking about what that means.
But Marjorie,
and if there were liberty and justice for all.
You asked the question, what can we do? And this today, told me that, man, it doesn't seem like we can do much. Because think about it. And we said this. Eric Garner was unarmed.
There is not much you can do about that situation. But I mean, this is, again, as someone who thinks in a very big picture kind of way,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess in my trading, I've learned to look at things in a small way. What can I do that's attainable? Eh? Can I help 60 kids, black kids in Maplewood do something? Can I help 100 kids in Essex County? And to take on the whole situation as a media person, yes, we might have, some clout or influence or open someone's eyes. But if you want some, discernible evidence, some quantitative thing to say, we have helped blah, blah, blah number of seniors. We have helped this number of ex-offenders. Whatever you do for a child might prevent them from even getting involved. Or anything bad happening to them. So I guess, in our seeking, rather than me ranting and raving, because I'm aware of this injustice. Many people see no value in understanding history. But this is nothing new. It's just a continuation of the old, and it always seems new. Because it's a new day, and we forget due to all the consumer things and things we want to buy, and the celebrity, and the entertainment that engulfs us 99% of the time. But once in a while, this becomes the entertainment, which is the news. And it's just you and I watching this. Maybe you are, and a couple of other million people. Other people are watching,
To be honest,
TV and not paying any attention to this.
to be honest with you, when I'm working during the day, I don't even turn that TV on.
Well, I mean, I don't know who has time to really do that when they're at work.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I am a news person. I listen to the news. I listen to it in the car. I listen to it on the way to work. I listen to it on the way home. And when I come home, that's the same.
But Marjorie, you asked the question, what could we do?
Yeah, so I think that should, I think,
Okay.
Whatever can be done to deal with solutions. And here we live in this small community where we pay taxes. So politics is local. What can you do in a local kind of way?
You see, Marjorie, if you're talking what can you do, you got to figure out what can you do about what?
That's right.
What can you do about the police stopping our kids of color? Or. So that's what I'm saying. I really wasn't talking about what you can do about kids' education. I was being more specific about what can we do about this current problem that we have in the United States of America, where we have innocent black males being killed almost weekly by white police officers. How could we get the white police officers to understand that not every black male is a criminal? Not every black male is violent. Not every black male, ran into a store and stole something. How could you get those officers to start to think that, you know what? Not all of these guys are criminals. How is it to get, if I'm pulled over, that I'm not a criminal? Or if I'm driving a Mercedes Benz, I didn't get that car because I'm a drug dealer. You see, because these are all of the things that you're going to face. If you pull over a guy who's not a person of color driving a Mercedes Benz or a BMW or a Lexus, most of the times, the police impression is that if the car is too nice and he got nice rims, there's a possibility he's a drug dealer. And that's their mindset. So right away, there's a preconceived notion about whoever that driver is.
Of course.
So I'm going to be, how does the black community, right, get the police to understand that after you profile me, it doesn't mean to say I'm a criminal. There's only one way.
How do you get the police to understand?
Yes.
So that's what you're going to solve. How to get the police to understand? That's what you want to solve?
No, what I want to solve that is that I don't want to be profiled because I am a male person of color. And I want the police to understand not all male persons of color are criminals.
Well, I mean, it's supposed to be that all are innocent until proven guilty. Yes? So you're
No,
saying that the police are not looking at... No, but you're saying how can I get them to understand? I mean, it's not like this is a thought that's new. This is the way it's supposed to be. So you're saying how can we get them to either see us as human beings,
yes,
you know,
yeah,
or to obey the law and obey the law as it is and treating us as a human being.
yes.
So I don't know if that's possible.
It is possible. They treat the other white folks the same way. They treat them humanly. If you see the one with the guy in the restaurant, they had the guy on the floor. He got up. He punched at the police officer. He didn't lose his life. Eh? Yes. In England, you saw the police officer tase the one guy that had a knife. He had a knife. They tased him. You see it over and over. I mean, just go on YouTube. You see them all. You see? So if the color of that individual had changed, there's a great possibility you would have heard a guy shot and killed in a restaurant. And this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So until these guys understand there are consequences for these actions, listen, look, think about this. The guy put an illegal chokehold on Eric Garner. The police department outlawed the chokehold. The NYPD. And the police officer used that same chokehold to kill Eric Garner. And the grand jury decided that Eric Garner was acting in a certain way that make the police put him in a chokehold to defend himself or defend them, whoever. So you can indict them. So
police, again,
what gives?
the police are agents of the state. Property is more important than human beings in a capitalist society. I think
Property is more important than human beings?
yes, in the society we live in,
What does that mean?
that property, things, are more important, especially private property. The police are not. You'd have to have an outlook on what the state and its purpose is. And the purpose is to keep the status quo. And if the status quo is to keep black people in a certain position and in a place that's oppressive, then that's what they're going to do that.
You know what?
I'm not, I can't.
I don't think I don't want to think that the police is trying to oppress black males. I don't want to think that. I just think that
Everything you've said tonight points in that direction.
I just think that the police think that most black people are criminal. Most black males are criminal. The 10%.
Police are in high crime areas, and the high crime area they happen to be in is mostly black.
And they think most of them are criminal.
Of black people is going to be a criminal.
Right, and they are criminals.
That's what you see, and then you go home to your suburban area,
And you look at CNN and you look at Fox.
Well, or whatever, and that's who your friends are, and your friends are all white, and you're not in any situation that's very diverse, and that's what you're going to see. I mean, black people see each other as criminals. Some black people do, and some white people see black people as criminals. Some white people don't.
But let me ask you a question.
What you're looking at.
Do you think that could happen in South Orange and Mayport?
Something like this?
Yeah.
I think that the way we met is a reason, because for behind something like this, when two boys that we know were chased by the police for no reason. So, I mean, it's not like...
Two boys were chased by the police?
Yes. Two boys were chased by the police, by friends that we had in common. And that's how I met the cruel people that I met through you, or as a